The Athletic.
Steve, the NBA in part is a league a lot about routine. How strange is it to enter a game where you bust there for 90 minutes and in a totally new locale for you and your team?
Yeah, different. I mean, for sure. And actually, the last time I believe we were here was the time a few years ago. I think this is right, when the preseason game with Miami, when the game got canceled because the court was too slippery. So that's the last time I was in this building.
Dan Savage, OrlandoMagic.com.
Cliff, obviously everybody's had it tough this season with injuries and truncated schedule, et cetera. But when you look at what they're having to deal with, being kind of the only team that has to move location, just how difficult can you picture that being?
We were talking about it this morning is, think about the guys, coaches, man, everybody that has families, so for your children, school systems, and, having to relocate for a few months has got to be, very, very difficult. And, I guess the only positive for them would just be the Florida weather.
Okay, Kay Avalar.
Alex Fleming, how you doing, Coach?
Good.
All right, so Vucevic and Aaron Gordon and Cam Burke can be an imposing front line against this Toronto Raptors team that's a little bit undersized. Do you see your size advantage being a major tool to getting the victory tonight?
Yeah, well, except for the Sacramento game, I mean, it's been a strength of ours. The rebounding game at both ends of the floor. The critical tonight again is the paint, which starts with those guys, or they're a big part of it, because so many of Toronto's threes are spot ups, which come from driving the ball into the paint. So the better job we can do is shutting that down, keeping the ball out of the paint, and keep them out of drive and kick, the better chance we'll have.
Dan Savage, OrlandoMagic.com.
Cliff, obviously Gasol and Ibaka were staples for them defensively over the last few years. How have they shifted since their departure, and what have you seen from film from guys like Boucher?
Well, they're playing the same way. Very aggressive. They're scoring off their defense. They're terrific in passing lanes, physical on cuts. They're very hard to play against. And then, Baines obviously brings a real physical presence when he's in there. And then Boucher is I think 2.2 blocks per game. So they're top 5 in deflections, top 5 in steals, and I think second or first in block shots.
Roy Perry, Orlando Sentinel.
Steve, you've talked a lot lately about trying to get your guys to play better collectively. When you're struggling a little bit in a little bit of a rut, how do you go about trying to get a balance between guys playing better but not trying to do too much?
Well, again, I think that's just where the practice time comes in. I mean, we've practiced twice in the last 4 days, nothing crazy, but I think the more time you can spend together, just to, again, the organization, trying to get guys into rhythm, and just trying to be more cohesive and tied together, is where all of that comes in. So, we had a good session this morning. I think guys are ready to play, and they understand that this game tonight starts with not turning the ball over and getting good shots. I mean, they are very hard to play against. They're unique, and you have to run offense at a high energy level. If you look at our last game in the bubble, I think we only scored 11 points in the first quarter. And then when we were, figured out how we had to play, we did a good job for the last 3. But we have to be able to start the game tonight with good energy and getting the ball going into the paint.
All right, back to Alex Fleming.
Coach, the last couple of games for the Toronto Raptors, especially Charlotte and the Kings, they gave up a lot of three-pointers. Do you see weaknesses in their defense to where Terrence Ross and a couple of others could probably benefit from the 3-point line?
Well, if you look at, their schemes of what they do, there are two things that people get against them. One, you can get to the free throw line if you play with good force, you screen well, and you drive the ball hard. And then the other one, there are going to be 3-pointers out there. Now, the way they've defended us in the past, they make Terrence their priority, he and Vooch. So they don't help off him as much. They double team all his pick and rolls, all of his catch and shoots. So they're very locked into, limiting his touches. But those are the things that are available against the way they play defensively.
Rob Parks.
Hey, Coach, Rob Parks from 48minutes.com. This is also about Terrence Ross. He had 24 points last game against the Clippers. Have you considered inserting him into the starting lineup? And if so, why or why not?
I mean, we don't, just because, he's so comfortable in his role, and he plays starters minutes. He finishes every game, and it gives us a better chance to be balanced throughout the 48 minutes. So there have been times for sure that we've discussed it and I've thought about it. But again, he has a comfort level. When he comes in the game, we play through him a ton. And again, he plays starters minutes and finishes every game.
Okay, any final questions? All right, thank you, everyone.